Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Come on. Hey. That's my tripod, honey. I'm gonna do with you. Alrighty. It's gonna be a little bit different of a video today. And I know it's been a while, and y'all can tell by the beginning screen there, or beginning scene, there's a not so good news in this video, but here we go. So we'll just jump to the video topic, I guess. A guy named Ethan Crum, this is my cheat sheet, asked me a lot of questions about dogs and getting into them. Said he's a big fan of the show, and specifically asked me to make a video about some of these questions. So here we are. This is for you, Ethan, I guess. So anyway, he more or less want to know like the stuff about dog kennels, how to get into rabbit hunting, which that's two different subjects, so I'm just going to be talking about kennels today. Kennel size, I think it has a lot to do with what's under them. Let's put it that way. Is it going to be just dirt? I think you need more space than normal. Is it going to be concrete? You can get away with less, but there's also how much a dog needs to, in my opinion, to function properly and do good. It's good to have, you know, I mean, a 10 by 10 is really comfortable for one dog. That's really comfortable for one dog. Now, am I doing that? No, not exactly, but mine ain't just exactly straight dirt neither. But also, even what I've noticed, mine is an 8 by 24. And I've done that way I can waste as least lumber as possible running off 8-inch or 8-foot boards. That's the way I built mine. And these dogs spend 90% of their time right here, and just 1/3 of it. So we're talking like an 8 by 8. They just basically crap in the other half, and they live pretty much right here. That's how they function. Even though they got all this space to run in. I've got about 4 inches of gravel in the bottom, which I'll get into that later. Right now we're just talking about size. If they're in just straight dirt, it's going to get really nasty really quick. You don't want that. So if it's just straight dirt, a good rule of thumb is if you're on the ground, just if your pen is built straight directly on the ground, a good rule of thumb is if they can have grass under them, then they've got enough space. If there ain't no grass under them, that means they're stomping it too much, they're wearing it down too much. That to me, in my opinion, that's not good. You want to have enough under them to have grass under them. Plus, the least grass you have, the more direct dirt contact you have, the more worm issues you're going to have. So if you got to have them directly on the ground, it's better to have good tall grass. That just cuts down on some of the pest issues, if you will, and the worms or the parasite issues. Now, you can get by with a whole lot less, like I said earlier, like if it's just a concrete floor or whatever, but the concrete's rougher on a dog's joints and all that good stuff. I mean, they're going to look healthier. They're going to be very unparasitic, but it's going to be rougher on their joints. So if I had to do it over, I'd probably go concrete, to be honest with you, because it has so many pros and cons. But anyway, that's just strictly the size. Hopefully that gets you in the ballpark there. Some people give them a 5 by 5, and that's enough, but you need to take them dogs out more. They don't need to just sit there losing their minds all the time. At least mine can run around, you know, a little bit in here. It's 8 by 24. And they got all option in the world, but they choose to live right here. So you get the idea. You get the idea. So that size, best dog houses, that's going to depend on your area. Strictly on your area. Mine is a little cheap plastic ones do good. I got some leftover stuff. Pretty much anything that I can get a hold of. Blue Dog, that's not your tripod. You know better than that. Basically, anything I can get a hold of is going to work great, as long as it ain't too hot. And in the wintertime, they'll just jump in there, a few of them together, and they'll keep themselves warm. It ain't, as long as you keep the wind off of them, that's the main thing. However, in the summertime, they might want some more wind. And just to give you a quick example right fast, I built this just to give them something. And they use this a whole lot in the summertime because they can jump up in here. They're off the ground. There's wind going all through this. They love this spot right here in the summertime. In the wintertime, you're going to hardly catch one up in there. So, like I said, I kind of give them a little bit of variety right there. Also, the higher that you can get them off the ground in my area, the better, just because it's the way it'll get the ground to get a little bit wet, and that's not a good thing. Which I'll address some issues with my kennel later on over that. But as far as dog houses go, if it'll keep the wind and the rain off of them, you're good to go. And if you're in too cold of an area, which I think you said you's from Maryland, that'll you may want to give them a little more insulation. You may want to put some dog flaps or some type of flap in the front, and it's going to depend strictly on time of year, and maybe even give them multiple different levels of insulation in different houses, kind of like I've got, so they can kind of choose where they want to go. See what I'm saying? That should help them out as well. And then that way the dogs are telling you what they need. You'll be like, hey, this is working, this ain't. You can kind of test and see what's going to work, what ain't, and ultimately end up with whatever you're going to end up with. This is your stuff. So anyway, I guess kennel opinions, I guess. You kind of asked me on that. Well, let's just tell you how I built mine, and then I'll tell you where I think I screwed up and could have done better. Once again, saving lumber, I built mine 4 foot high on the front. On the back, it's shorter, so I can have the water shedding off better. I done that because, once again, it cost literally half the 4x4s going around to produce this. If I had it do over again, I'd have went all the way. I'd have built an 8 footer, 7 footer, whatever. I'd have built it like I wanted, and or the way I should have built it. The reason being, your dogs, anything, I mean, they're still going to be work. Even though it's a hobby and it's fun, it is still work. Having to load them up every time, having to get in here and deal with them. When I get in here to do anything, I got to squat down. My knees and has to literally touch my elbows when I'm walking around. If I get up for a little bit, I'll bang my head or my back on these boards up here. So there's still work, and anything that you can do to make that work easier is going to be better on you. Because if you're sitting there thinking, man, I got to do this, I got to do this, you sit there and you look at the big picture, it might dishearten you a little bit, you know, and it'll make you less likely to go in there and spend time with your dogs, less likely to go do something, but you'll be less likely to put time into them dogs like you need to be putting into them. So, and it's over in the long run, it's just going to be bending over more, having issues. I've tripped and fell in here because of stuff. It's, you know, it ain't a good thing. Just if you're going to build one, I do strongly suggest building it tall enough that you can just walk in there. All you got to do is open the door, go handle your business, come back out. You'll ultimately, throughout the years, put more time in them dogs, which is going to result in better dogs, healthier dogs, whatever you want to put it. So that's one thing I'm going to say that I screwed up on. Yeah, it's shorter, but the older I get, the more I regret that. You know, when I built it back when I was, 20 or whatever, yeah, that was, who cares, But that bending over sucks when you get a little older, and I'm still not over the hill yet, but I'm looking at it. But anyway, so build a proper sized kennel. Build it big enough for you to walk in. You'll spend more time with your dogs. Number 2, something I didn't think about. When I built this, I actually had to dig out a little bit of dirt around here to get it level. I figured it'd be easier to dig out a little bit than to add a whole bunch, and it is, but what I ended up doing is digging into the ground level. So it made it to where this place was very prone for flooding and stuff since I done that. Now this is just a good rule in construction, period, not just your dog kennel. A good rule in general, construction is just one big game of keeping water off everything you've built. That is the number one name of the game right there. Pretty much as far as the actual frame and structure goes, it is 90-something% a game of, hey, how can I keep the water off this? How can I make it shed differently? That is construction in a nutshell. Like if you ever go to build a house or anything, you're better off building a hump, a good solid packed hump, chert, whatever, and building your house on it. That's, I think they call it a positive grade. In other words, you're keeping all the water shedding away from your structure inherently, not a negative grade flowing towards your structure trying to flood all the time. And mine has technically got that on the front. It's negative in the front, it's positive in the back, so it mostly causes issues in the front. So to get around that, something I had to do, since they mostly live over here, I had to come back and put some boards in all the way around, which raised it up more. Then I keep putting shavings on there. Now the way I work, it ain't really a deep litter method, but it's very close to it. So what's going on is they'll sit over here, they'll do their thing, and get to looking like crap eventually. I'll throw more shavings on it. It's just kind of like dog happenings, shavings. It's like a dog happening, shaving lasagna, if you will, just coming on up. So over here, it'll do that. It takes about 2 years, and it gets high enough where it's eventually just falling over the edges, having no good effect. That's when I get in here, clean it out, throw it on my long-term compost pile here in the back, and just leave it alone, you know. It also makes a good worm bed when you want to go fishing. So that's how I handle this. Now this could have been easily avoided, and it's going to save you a lot of money in the long run. Just go ahead and pour your concrete floor that's slanted, and also on your kennels, roof them all the way around. The more water, even if it is concrete, the more water you keep off of it, the cleaner it's going to be, less bad stuff, better. Keep water off. That is the name of the game in construction, including constructing dog kennels. Another thing is, a lot of people get these chain link ready-made kennels. I don't go with them. You can, but you're going to have to tinker with them. But I don't like them for a few different reasons. But one thing I'm going to add to this, at the bottom of my pen all the way around, when I built it, you got the 4x4s all the way around on the bottom. And they're pressure treated, and they're going to last a long time. I mean, they've been there for years, and it literally in the ground, and they're still doing fine. I'm going to get many more years out of them. But at the bottom of them, I had to come in with some water. If you're building anything even close to ground, anything besides concrete or a wood floor, you don't have to worry about this. At the bottom, a dog is bad about going at the edge and digging down. Even through the gravel, I had some dig down right at the edge. So what I done is all the way around the bottom, I cut me off some of that 1x2 wire, you know, about a foot of it, and I went all the way around the bottom, and I nailed it, or used them old post nails all the way around. So when they go to the edge, they try to dig down, they hit that wire, and it's game over. They're not getting out. Mine are also not climbing out, because beagles are kind of bad about that too. I'll go ahead and show you this. You can see at the top where this wire, I think, was 6 foot wire. So even at the bottom, no, it might have been 5 foot, whatever it was, I nailed it down here at the bottom, came up and wrapped it inwards. So if one does try to go there, try to climb up, he's just going to hit water. So, which if you're going to build a pen without a roof on it, or build an outdoors run to your pen, and you ain't got a roof over it, it's still good to come up with that wire and come in, because if a dog tries to climb up and he hits it, it's so loose he just falls right off. So that's still a good idea. So it don't matter if you got a roof on it or not, that's a safe thing to do. Blue dog, that ain't your tripod. I keep telling you, wrong you. So anyways, but either way, like I said, a lot of this bullcrap could have been avoided with just just build me a little form. Could have used cheap wood, and not even pressure treated. Just went all the way around it, build me a good form, poured it with concrete. You know, you want it dropping about an inch every 10 foot or so, or it's a couple inches every 10 foot, whatever. Just enough to make that water flow off of. You don't want it too dang steep. It's going to be rough on the dogs, and their balance is going to be off when you take them from there and take them out and hunt. You get the idea. The closer to the level, the better for the dog, but it needs to be angled just a little bit just to make the water shed off. So the concrete floor, if I would have done that, and then at the back of it, I would have come in with another board and left about a 2-inch gap at the back of it. That way all I had to do was come in the front when there was any crap in here, just hit it with a hose, and it literally would have washed out the back. And then where I got the dog houses, I would have built them up off the ground. Once again, have an 1 or 2 inch gap under them. That way I could just wash the crap under the houses out of that board in the back, and it's over with. You ain't got to worry about it. So I'd have definitely went with a concrete floor, and I definitely would have built it taller. Other than that, as far as I know right now, give me 10 years, I'll figure something else I hate. But as far as right now, well, that's about the only changes I would have done differently right there. I just feel like it'd be a lot better on the dogs. And I guess we'll just go ahead and finish off with what we started with there. As far as the kennel updates, or like the dogs, the actual pack update, if you will. I got them pups over there. I got 4 left. I'm keeping 2, so if any of y'all want any, I got 2 left. I already got rid of 1. So I got them going on. Those are, I have to, it's more complicated because now I got to think of my breeding program, how they're bred and everything. But either way, they got some sooner in them, let's put it that way. They're 3/4 hooker, so they're some fast little slim dogs. I like them, but I've already got these dogs. But anyways, back on the subject here. Abby's been bred, so she got some pups coming up a couple months, and Hooker's been bred again. I'm gonna cross her with a buddy of mine's dog. We'll see how they turn out. Hey, old girl. Hey, old sweet thing. You fine old dog, you know that? But anyhow, good girl. Hey, I got. So anyhow, I've still got later. I finally got rid of Crook. I ended up giving him away. I had to drive a long ways to give that dog away. He wasn't hunting very good, but he was such a sweet dog, well-mannered dog. I couldn't just cull him. Let's put it that way. So I got rid of old Crook, which was the young puppy y'all seen me walking around with quite a bit. And I guess as far as the sad news goes, I ain't got Sooner no more. Sooner, he's dead finally, and that was rough. I had that dog 11 years and killed a lot of good rabbits in front of him, but it is what it is. And anyway, we ain't got him no more. So, yeah. He was getting old anyhow. Good Lord, he looked like his head like a polar bear. He's so white and all. And we got to where we was running him just even a month ago, even if that. We was running him around and he was just drugged down and wore out. He still wanted to go, but man, he'd be 20, 30 yards ahead of all the other dogs fast. And be barking and going. And on near the end there, he was 20 yards behind all the other dogs. He wouldn't bark maybe once every 2 minutes. You know, he could only run for maybe an hour and he was done. But he'd still want to go, and every time he wanted to get up and go, I'd take him. As long as he had a drive to at least try to go, I'm going to take him, because that's a good dog right there. But either way, I still got some pups out of him, so that's a good thing. But either way, I reckon that grave looked like crap, but that's still the best dog grave I ever made, so. But it is what it is. Like I said, we still got, like I said, even some of these pups over here is out of him, so it ain't like I'm going to be able to, well, he's their grandpa, but either way, I'll never be able to make no more halved up versions of him, let's put it that way. So it is what it is. But at least I got some of his genes still around. I'm still going to keep on going with it. And keep on making some fine dogs. But either way, old Sooner's gone. That's a rough one. Boys, that's a rough one. Like, I bawled like a little schoolgirl. I ain't gonna lie to you. It wasn't a pretty sight. That wasn't a pretty sight. Like I said, there's a little update. It sucks. It is what it is. We ain't gonna be seeing him no more. And I guess if I make a video in the future, it might be a video about how to actually get into dog hunting, and more importantly, if you should get into dog hunting. Let's put it that way. So hopefully you enjoyed that, specifically Ethan. Hopefully the rest of y'all watching this enjoyed it, even though it wasn't meant for y'all. Sorry. But either way, that's pretty much all I got for now. I know I ain't been had much camera time lately, but here we are. Maybe we'll get in it some more, maybe we won't, but hang in there. Hang in there. Y'all have a good day.